everyone, welcome to the new video. So today we will see one service or resource of AWS. So let's go. Today we will see about AWS IAM. IAM stands for Identity Access Management. So this topic can be very overwhelming, can be confusing because there are lot many things. We see about users, we groups, policies, roles. So that's why it becomes very confusing because there are so many things, and if there is no clear difference that we come to know between all these, we get confused. So basically, what is IAM? IAM is a security guard for AWS account. So when you see a AWS portal, you will have many AWS to create an isolation. To we can create many AWS account. Okay, so this is like inside that AWS account, we can have more resources of that. So it is just like creating an isolation, creating a proper naming. We have a AWS account. And to access those AWS account, we need AWS IAM, which helps in proper authentication of a user or group. Um, so let's understand. So first of all, who can access your AWS resources or who can access the resources inside a particular AWS account and what all they're allowed to do? Like if they are accessing EC2, so they can just create, they can just manage the start and stop, or they have to just uh, 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 they can just view the status. So what all permissions can be given to a user that can also be managed by AWS IAM. Where they can do it from, like they can do it from CLI only, or they can do it from UI also. How is it? When access is allowed, like we can control like for how much period, like it's a short term access or it is a long term access, and how they authenticate, like whether they can be like there are many ways like multi-factor authentication that we can enable. So this is how every identity access management can be done by AWS IAM. So there are so many things like IAM users, we listen about it, IAM roles, IAM policies, then groups. So what is it? So IAM user is like a person who needs long-term access. So there a user is created in AWS, and with that username we are authenticating. Okay, IAM roles are identities for machines. Like it's a temporary access. We don't have any password, we don't have any key. It's a temporary credentials. So you just have to, if you want to log in or if you want to do anything, just assume that role, like enact that, like if we have a role created, like suppose an analogy, like when actors perform in a movie. Okay, when they act as doctor, when they act as policemen, they are actually not doctors or policemen, but they are enacting it. And in for that movie, they are doctors, and when the work is done, that's it. So actually, they are not doctors, but they are just you enacting that role, completing their movie, and that's it. The role is done. Similarly, IAM roles are like that. We have roles created, we have to assume those roles. If we have proper access, we assume that role, we do our perform our work, and that's it. Once that work is done, we our credential expires. So that's a temporary credential that we get for some time when we assume that role. IAM policies are rules that define that what actions are allowed or denied. Like allow S3 put object on bucket X. So this policies we can define that for the user or for any role, we can define rules that what all actions they can perform assuming that role, or what a user can perform if they are given IAM user access. Groups are simply buckets for permission shared by multiple users. So we can add, you know, we can create a group, we can add multiple user, or we can add roles, and we can just define the policies or permissions that can be given to those users. So admin go to the admin group, developer go to the dev group. So I hope these things are clear now. Now, the crucial steps to secure our AWS environment is stop using the root account. So, when you don't have anything, when you're first logging, you always have a root account. But we should, those root accounts are never shared by anyone. In an organization, those root account is not shared, and nobody is given, like, apart from the person who is managing, who's responsible for it. Nobody else has that root account, and we are not even allowed to use that root account. So instead of that, create an IAM admin user. So even though we have a root account, but still we create an IAM admin user which has everything. Okay, and lock the root account away. So IAM admin user will also have the same permission as root account, but we don't use root account. We use IAM admin user. Even a admin or a person who's managing will use IAM admin user. Enable MFA everywhere. Okay, so, because to secure your passwords, we should enable MFA, and it can be made mandatory also by a person who is managing it. Use IAM role instead of access keys, because access keys are for long term and secrets can leak, but roles give out temporary credential that expires automatically. Follow the privilege principle of least privilege. So this is being followed in AWS, that you know we should um, give the permissions which are only required. Unnecessary permission should not be given. You should understand that what actually a person wants to do, and according to that, permission should be given. No extra permission should go to any person. So this is how AWS even gives you tool like IAM Access Analyzer, AWS Cloud Trail, Last Access Report to help clean up old policies. So you can use these things, use tools to identify which role should be given, or what is not required. Use permission boundary for guardrails. So if you're in a team environment, permission boundaries prevent overly permissive policies. It's like setting a fence around the maximum allowed permissions. So that you can do. Rotate credentials regularly. And we should have one AWS account per environment or per workload. So it sometimes in an organization we have AWS account depending on the number of team, or per environment we have. So that becomes very much, if you have dev, prod, and UAT for each environment, and you're creating one AWS account for each environment, that will be very so many AWS account. If you don't want to manage so many, you can give AWS as per team. So that is also one way. So depends how, and then you can manage the control over the particular team or particular environment using IAM, using service control policies are also there. So even IAM access permissions can be overruled by service control policy. So this is one more, uh, you know, uh, uh, what you can say, security or guard that has been provided. Even if a person having an IAM user access has certain permission, but if something is denied on SCP level, then even though person is having access, he won't be able to perform. Okay. When AWS evaluates permission, it works like explicit deny always win, allows win over default deny, and no rule is equal to deny. Means if there is no rule you have defined, it means that you are denied. Explicit deny, like if something is not mentioned or not defined, then it means that that thing will have to be defined, denied. That permission allows when over default deny. So if there is a default deny, then define, so it allows wins. And if so, if something isn't working, looking for, if something is not working, like if you want to get some permission and even after doing changes you are not able to get that, so a hidden deny in a policy check, a SCP blocking you, a permission boundary limiting access, a missing resource level permission. So these things you must check if something is blocking and even after making changes you are not able to debug. So this saves hours of debugging, and conclusion is I'm user only get what they need. Roles provide temporary and secure access. Policy act like smart rules. MFA protects identities. Organization control everything from above. Logs tell you who did what and when. So yeah, that's all.
That's all for today's video. I hope it's helpful. Please let me know your views in the comment section. Till then, take care. Bye.